Lots of people dream of having more free time in their later years. Maybe you want to travel the world. Maybe you want to finally launch your own business. Or you might feel led to do volunteer work. Whatever the reason, the question is the same. What would it take for me to retire at an early stage? Follow this video closely as we will be talking about the steps needed to have a comfortable early retirement. Some of the answers depend on your financial situation, but if you're serious about learning how to retire early, here are some things that could help you get there. Here is a list of some things which I'll be talking about: calculating and estimating your expected post-retirement corpus, paying off your debt early, saving rather than spending your windfall, asset allocation, controlling your expenses, considering a health saving account for health expenses. First and most important is calculating and estimating your expected post-retirement corpus. A key element of financial planning is considering your retirement stage. As soon as you finish your working years, you should outline how you will cope with the time when you do not have a regular income. You will need to create a source of income for yourself. To do that, you will need to carefully calculate the amount you will need to maintain your lifestyle, and then you will need to invest accordingly. Calculating your retirement corpus is a multi-step process. Saving early is the key to retiring early. Here are 4 steps to take in estimating your retirement corpus. Working out the number of years you have until retirement. Before you create an outline for your retirement savings and investment, you need a timeline. If you plan to retire at the regular age, then estimate how much time you have left until then. If you want to retire sooner, then that's your age limit to go by. Either way, you need a definite timeline to plan your investments accordingly. The second step is to account for inflation. As if inflation's impact on today's prices wasn't bad enough, it's also driving up how much people will need to retire. And the ones who will feel the brunt of it are the younger generations, Gen Z and Millennials. In the past, a popular rule of thumb was that you need a nest egg of $1 million to retire comfortably. Wealthcare Financial recently did an analysis, and it found that won't be enough. It's also said that when Gen Z and Millennials reach retirement age, you're going to need $3 million in retirement savings. The cost of living rises every year. A dollar you earn today will not be of the same value 10 years down the line. Inflation is an important factor to consider when calculating your retirement corpus. It impacts your expenses and the returns you will earn on your investment. Experts suggest taking into account a 6 to 8% inflation rate. Next is estimating your annual expenses post-retirement. Do you plan to lead the same lifestyle after retirement, or will you pare down on certain expenses you had at present? Do you want to shift to a different city or lead a nomadic lifestyle? These are some questions to get out of the way when planning your retirement. Based on these inputs, you need to come up with an estimate of how much your annual expenses will add up to. Don't forget to take inflation into account while calculating your yearly expenses. Once you have your expenses outlined, you have to decide on your investments. Make sure you diversify your retirement investment into different products to get the best returns. Remember the principle of higher the risk, higher the expected return. Exposure to equity as an asset class has the potential to generate higher returns compared to other asset classes, but may carry higher risk. But financial experts also opine that by staying invested over the long term, some years of low or negative returns and some years of impressive returns will make the average returns quite reasonable. Another important thing to do is to pay off your debt at the earliest stage. Personally, I think the best reason to pay off debt early is to save money and stop paying interest. Interest charges don't buy you anything except the ability to pay slowly. Your house does not get any bigger when you pay interest on a mortgage, and you don't get your interest back when you sell. As long as you are paying EMIs, the chances of having enough money for retirement are slim. Focus on creating a debt repayment schedule designed to pay off loans in 2 to 3 years. If you need to live frugally, cut back on vacations and other big expenses, and get your spouse to contribute towards the EMIs. Some loans drag on for many years or more, and interest costs add up over time. Other loans might have shorter terms, but high interest rates make them expensive. So whatever you're doing, make sure not to owe anyone before retirement. Another way to get this done is by saving rather than spending your windfall. Whenever you receive a raise, increase your contribution to investments. Dedicate at least half, if not more, to your retirement plan. Retirement savings is a top priority for many savers. Saving now for retirement will ensure that you have enough money to enjoy a comfortable standard of living when you stop or reduce the number of hours you work. Asset allocation is important and very necessary if you're planning on early retirement. While you are young, you should invest a larger portion of your corpus in equity, which has the potential to grow your wealth at a higher rate than inflation. As you near retirement, it is advisable to shift funds from equity-oriented schemes to debt schemes. A lot of people do have the habit of spending money rather than controlling their expenses. If you keep on with this kind of lifestyle, you face a lot of financial crisis when retiring. Usually, you would spend 80 to 85% of your salary and save 15 to 20% of it. If, however, you decide to retire early, you'll need to set aside more. Let's say you're in your late 20s. Most finance experts recommend a spend-to-save ratio of 70-30. This means you'll need to save twice the amount than you would have done otherwise. As you grow older, you might have to set aside at least 50% savings. In everything, hard work and discipline are the most reliable ways to retire early. Being disciplined is very crucial, and this is a priority in ensuring an early retirement. Becoming disciplined isn't just something that happens one day. It's always a process, but at first sight, it's always difficult and seems impossible. There are several ways to make this happen. One is to take a high-paying job and save as much of your income as you can. Another is to start a business. You can also try investing aggressively, but this doesn't always pay off. In today's world, it's easy to buy new things at any hour of the day. Another, not to spend money unnecessarily. Setting your financial goals is a very important piece of the puzzle. After all, it can be extremely difficult to be disciplined about money if you don't have clear-cut goals lined up. The most effective way to do this is to have short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Once you have figured out your financial goals, staying focused on them is the next step, and sometimes that can be the hardest part. It is so easy to get derailed when life throws you a curveball, but all you have to do is press on. Last on our list is to consider a health saving account (HSA) for health expenses. Healthcare costs are one of the main concerns when individuals contemplate early retirement, and HSAs are an often overlooked tool for savings. HSA accounts offered in conjunction with some high-deductible healthcare plans allow you to contribute tax-free, have the asset grow tax-deferred, and make withdrawals for qualified expenses tax-free. Contributions made to the account carry year to year and even carry on with you if you change employers. If you can avoid withdrawing from the health saving account during your working years, any amount remaining can be used in retirement for qualifying health needs. Medical emergencies are something we can never predict. However, these are expenses we cannot avoid, and they tend to balloon, which will be disastrous for your financial plans. Now we've come to the end of this video. I hope it was helpful. At least if you have any plans for early retirement, you can use these tips to work it out without going through financial crises and breakdowns. How are you planning for your early retirement? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time.